seems. From coast to coast, exploring the parks, roller coasters, Universal, Disney, Xbox, T-double-P, saving you time and money. Coming from the parks, it's gonna be funny. Every ride's and adrenaline fuel drops, thrills and spills, never gonna stop. Big park plunge, come along for the ride. Step by step, we'll take you on the inside. Snacks and food, we got it covered too. Join us in the plunge, and the adventure is true. Shining a channel, big one plunge, it seems. From coast to coast, exploring the parks, roller coasters, Universal, Disney, Xbox, T-double-P, saving you time and money. Running from the parks, it's gonna be funny. Every rides and adrenaline fuel drops, thrills and spills, never gonna stop. Big park plunge, come along for the ride. Step by step, we'll take you on the inside. Snacks and food, we got it covered too. Join us in the plunge, and the adventure is true. Where's the best? Represent your soul.
Hello, it's Steps of Theme Park Plunge. Welcome to the unannounced, unplanned live stream. I was looking at Facebook about 15-20 minutes ago, and I saw that Cedar Point has finally confirmed what we already knew. We already knew that it wasn't going to reopen because it would have opened by the end of the summer. And the summer is over pretty much. It's regular summer season. Kids are back in school. Maybe not in Michigan till Labor Day, but it's pretty much over. And so they finally admit some things. And it took them long enough. And they were even testing it, even yesterday. I keep seeing these posts of them testing it, of them altering the ride, things like that. Here is the official announcement, and it is, let's see, we will, no, I don't want an extra camera. Maybe I can't present in here, huh? Oh, no, let's see, share screen. There we go. Entire screen, boom, here it is. We sincerely appreciate your patience while Top Thrill 2's manufacturer, Zamperla, has been working diligently to complete mechanical modifications to the coaster vehicles. Unfortunately, the manufacturer will not be able to complete the modifications needed in time to reopen the coaster in 2024. We are extremely disappointed that we cannot operate this ride this season, but remain committed to delivering a reliable, consistent, unparalleled coaster experience for our guests in 2025. In the meantime, please accept our sincere apology for the disappointment and inconvenience. Okay, so here's the deal. I've had 3 rides on this sucker. See, if you don't believe me, there's videos of me there at the park opening day. But you can go to my channel and check them out if you look at the videos. But see, here's my first rider button. I got that on opening day from Tony Clark himself. And so here's the deal. Okay. I think that there is information that obviously that Cedar Point has not officially released. They don't have to. They basically are just saying right here, it's not ready. Now, they are saying in the statement that it's a mechanical modification to the coaster vehicles that needs completed. My concern is this. If it was just a mechanical modification to the coaster vehicles, wouldn't it have reopened by now? Is there anything that would have stopped this thing from reopening? You think they would have done everything in their power to modify that train and get it working properly. My other concern is that this ride, they tested it before opening it for like 6 months. They started running this thing. They were showing video in December of them running this ride last year. And then we saw Tony Clark riding it way early. And you thought they had plenty of time to test this thing, so it amazes me that within like 4 or 5 days of this thing opening, they shut the thing down, and it's been closed ever since. My rides were on opening day, and then I had one ride the following day, and it was smooth. It was a wonderful experience. I absolutely loved the ride. I thought that it is definitely a top 10 roller coaster. I loved that it went forwards and backwards and did all of that. I love the backward launch at 100 miles an hour. I love going all the way to the top of the spike. And you hit that top hat, and then you got this moment of floater airtime at like 420 feet or ever tall that sucker is that you cannot get anywhere else on Earth. It is sweet. That being said, if there's any problems with the ride, it's dangerous. It's dangerous to continue to operate it, so that's why they obviously shut it down. From what I understand, it was tearing up the trains. So I heard some things. You know, I talked to different people. They give me the things that they heard. He said, she said, and we don't know exactly which of these are the reasons for it. But one of them that it keeps replaying in my mind, and again, you can't take this for fact, but it's also just hearsay, I guess. But from what I understand, what I was told in this story is that Intamin also made a bid on this project. I also heard B&M made a bid on this project, and B&M was like, tear it down and build a new ride. But Intamin, apparently what I was told, wanted to increase the capacity and, obviously do the backward launch and all that. But they also said that the top hat needed to be replaced because it would tear up modern vehicles. Now, that makes sense. Obviously, the ride's over 20 years old. It's like 22 years old. That top hat. Should they have replaced the top hat? That's the question, right? And Zamperla said, hey, we could do it without replacing the top hat. And we could do it for like half as much money. And so they went with Zamperla, and obviously we're having issues with the trains getting torn up. I don't understand why that wasn't found out in testing. They obviously didn't test it adequately because I heard they were testing it in batches. But the fact that this opened up and it only made it 4 days and then was closed, that's not good. That's not good. Now, I love Cedar Point. I love Tony Clark. I love Top Thrill 2. I really hate to say anything negative. And I feel like even me talking about this could, like in the future, if my channel grows, things like that could affect me because Six Flags only wants happy-go-lucky official YouTubers to come to their events and things like that. But I will tell you this. Love Top Thrill 2. Was an excellent ride. I could chill that to the ends of the earth. But this opening and this ride and how it was handled and this here, it was not good. Like, I went to Coaster Mania this year, and there's a lot of people that went to Coaster Mania, and they planned on going to Coaster Mania way before Top Thrill 2 and all that other stuff. And yeah, they delayed officially making tickets available, things like that, because the issues with Top Thrill 2. But there was a lot of people, I think, were still hopeful that there's no way this thing's going to stay closed for Coaster Mania. And yeah, granted, they announced that and stuff happens. And I can understand that. But, like, the interesting part is they continued anyway. And the gift for going to Coaster Mania was this Top Thrill 2 poster. And, of course, it says Coaster Mania 2024. So this is kind of like a really special poster now because this ride wasn't even open during Coaster Mania. But this is a very special edition. I mean, obviously, you can only have gotten it at Coaster Mania. I really am happy to have it. But imagine you haven't ridden this ride, because I had rode this ride. And you go to Coaster Mania, and they give you this poster, and maybe you flew from California or something, you're going to be mad. And that's just exactly what happened. We were at dinner at Coaster Mania, and Tony Clark's doing a question and answer, and this guy from California, he's like, I flew all the way for California, and he starts screaming, all you give me, like, I think they gave us like a fast lane, we could use at a later date, or something like that, and they had a canceled boat ride too, so it was like the canceled boat ride, there was no Top Thrill 2, so this guy blew up at Tony Clark, and I don't advise blowing up at Tony Clark at the Coaster Mania dinner. I mean, that wasn't a good way to handle it, but I can understand why the guy was mad. Like, if you go to this event and this is closed and they hand out merch for you that's Top Thrill 2 related and you can't ride it, you're going to be pretty upset. So I wish they would have, even though it would have cost them some money, I wish they would have changed course. I don't think it was very professional, and it was a very fair, good idea. But do I think that there's possibly needing some track modifications for this ride in 2025? Now, I cannot speak with authority. I'm not a coaster engineer. I am not an employee of a theme park or anything like that. But I would say it's highly likely that there's going to need to be modifications to the track. Otherwise, this ride probably would have opened already. So could it be that the top hat did need replaced, that track needed replaced to handle more modern coaster trains, or just the fact that it was too old? I think there's a good chance. Can this ride open at the beginning of 2025 at this point? I don't know. I mean, it depends on what parts they need. Will it open in 2025? Hopefully there's a good chance. They said they're committed to making it happen in 2025. I think a lot of us should be nervous that, hey, May 2025 may come and it still may not be ready. Or maybe they don't want to invest the rest of the funds they need to get this working properly. I mean, there's so many questions that we do not know the answer to on this Top Thrill 2. And it ended up being a complete train wreck disaster for Cedar Point this season. And there's multiple things that happened at Cedar Point this season. Besides Top Thrill 2, you had the camels and the goats. There's been some, it seems like, I don't know, because I just joined some of these Facebook groups this year. There's been a lot of downtime on things like Millennium Force, Steel Vengeance. I wish Steel Vengeance had a more consistent experience. The first time I rode it, last October, the trims were off, and it was an amazing ride. And ever since, I think I rode it 4 or 5 times this year. The trims were always on, which kind of buzz kills the ride. When you're going through the ride, and then all of a sudden it like almost comes to a stop at the mid-course brake run, it kills it, man. It kills it, especially when you've ridden it in the past with the trims off. Now, I know my friends with Melon and Coaster Network got to ride it with the trims off last weekend, which is pretty cool, and I'm glad they did. But also the other thing is, every time I stood in line for Steel Vengeance, it went down. I had to wait. It would say 15-minute wait. I'd get in line. It'd be like an hour and a half later because of downtime. I didn't experience that at any other RMC. I rode like 7 RMCs this year, and the only other one that had any sort of delay once is the second time I got in line for Iron Gwazi. It went down. They called the roller coaster techs over, and it was fixed within 15 minutes. I literally watched them fix it, and it was right back open and running. It was a lot more. It was a lot better process than what I've seen when something happens at Cedar Point. Now, Cedar Point is a bigger park, I feel. I feel like when you walk around Cedar Point, like you get absolutely exhausted because it's so big. Maybe it's hard to get everybody over there. Maybe they're trying to fix another ride already. I don't know. But I felt like I was frustrated in those circumstances. Now, granted, did I have a fast lane or anything? No. But still, it seemed like I had experienced a lot of downtime, specifically at Steel Vengeance. I don't think it's a manufacturer issue. So there you go. But Top Thrill 2 was definitely a top 10 ride for me. I absolutely love it. It's my favorite ride at Cedar Point. There's only so many places on Earth you could get to 120 miles an hour. You can get to 420 feet. Top Thrill 2 does that. It does that. And it's an absolute amazing experience, and it's a shame more people, it's a shame more people didn't get to experience it, and I could understand why people were so frustrated this year. There's so many canceled trips. There's so many things that happened. And it was recently announced that Cedar Point hit 4 million visitors in 2023, and that it was the most visited theme park outside of Florida or California, which makes a lot of sense considering the attractions that they run there. But will they be able to hit those numbers in 2024? Or will another park surpass it because of these issues with Top Thrill 2? I think it's highly likely. I think it's highly likely that it did affect attendance in a major way. And I am interested to see next year's numbers, which I won't, or 2024's numbers, which we won't know until about a year from now, to see to what extent the Top Thrill 2 closure has affected the park. But I love Cedar Point. I love Top Thrill 2. I want this stuff to all work. I'm not a hater. I'm just saying, like, for me, they didn't plan very well. Something happened along the lines. The testing wasn't adequate, apparently, because it shouldn't have closed 4 days later. And it seems like Cedar Point's placing solely the blame on Zamperla, because you can even see it right here. Oh, we sincerely apologize, but Zamperla hasn't fixed it yet. Well, maybe there's some things that Cedar Point didn't let Zamperla know through estimates they got with other manufacturers. Maybe there's... it's the curse. What curse, Rick? What curse, man? What curse? I think Cedar Point and Six Flags, now being the parent company, used to be Cedar Fair, they need to take some more ownership of this situation. It's not just Zamperla's fault. And, it's nice because they're so nice about it here And I think they know it's not Jesse and Perla's fault. Otherwise, oh my God, this would have been so bad. And it shows they're still working together. But what's going to be the solution, right? They're just saying, hey, it's not going to open this year. Did they give up? Do they have to replace the track? What are they going to do? Because if they have to replace some track, there's going to be some track coming. People are going to know. And if you do replace the track, are you just going to make it exactly the same as it was? Are you going to make some other modifications? I mean, there's so many different things. Or are we just going to have to go with whole new trains? Or what's the deal? We don't know. We don't know. So it just says 2025. It doesn't say opening 2025. We don't know when in 2025. Ride Top Thrill 2 all summer. Yeah, I bought a season pass, and yeah. Unfortunately, my home park is Kings Island. I was so mad because I bought a season pass to Kings Island because I was like, oh, I'm a member of all the parks because I don't see myself just going to one park. So I bought the season pass to Kings Island. I bought the all park passport, and then I find out you could only go on Top Thrill 2 during the preview window if you bought your pass from Cedar Point. Well, if I had known that, I would have bought the pass from Cedar Point because I don't go to just one park. I've been to 23 amusement parks, theme parks this summer. I don't go to just one. I'm not married to Kings Island. I'm not married to Cedar Point. I'm not married to Six Flags Great America. I'm not married to Six Flags Over Georgia. I just go, and I go have fun, and I experience the rides. And that was one thing I was really upset about. I was like, oh, come on. Now, I got to ride at opening day, so all things, worked out on that end. But I'm glad I did, because if I hadn't gone opening weekend, I never would have got on it. And that one guy, what's his name? Theme Park Worldwide, he came from England, and he got there the day before it shut down, so he got his ride on it, and he's lucky, man. Could you imagine flying all the way from England, and then you get there, you got your roller coaster, this huge roller coaster channel, and they're like, okay, Top Thrill 2's closed, and then you gotta leave. That would suck. So that's why there's so many people that were so mad. Like I said, at Coaster Mania, the guy that blew up at Tony Clark from California at the dinner, he starts screaming, and then he walked out of the dinner. And, I don't think it was the right way to behave, but people got angry because they had invested all this time and money. And like I said, you get to Coaster Mania, they give you this poster for Top Thrill 2, and it's not open. So at that point, hey, this poster didn't work out. Let's get something else. But I like having the poster. I'm happy with it, but I could see why it pissed people off. You know what I'm saying? I've been on the ride. It's a kind of a rare poster. I'm fine. I'm happy. But you see, like I said, if I'm that guy from California and you hand me a poster for a ride that's closed and I just flew all the way from California to go to Coaster Mania, yeah, I'm going to be mad. Rightfully so, they're mad, right? It's rightfully so. They can't argue that. They can't argue that at all. And, yeah, but the ride, like I said, I love that ride. I love Top Thrill 2. I was bummed out I didn't get any more rides this summer. At least I got the 3 rides in I did. 2 opening day, 1 the next day. They would not let me ride in the front row. I requested it all 3 times. No, but hey, I got on the ride. Every time at a theme park makes a sequel to one of their roller coaster rides, it's always something that happens to it, like Son of Beast. Son of Beast. Okay, here's what I'll tell you, though. Son of Beast actually opened, and Son of Beast, I think, was open for a good 10 years. I don't think it did experience downtime here or there, but not the opening season. I remember it being pretty much open a lot of the time. The other thing I'll tell you, though, is that Top Thrill 2 is a much better ride. Like, Top Thrill 2, like I said, is worthy of people putting it in their top 10. Son of Beast was never worthy of a top 10 ranking. Son of Beast was like, I went on it, like, opening day, and I remember my first thoughts were like, this isn't as good as the Beast. Like, it was awful. It was awful. And, yeah, so, I will tell you that. Nah. But do I think, yeah, again, I do think that there's going to be more modifications to this than just a train. We will see. I can't promise that. I'm interested to see how they handle this for 2025. I think everybody's going to be talking about this all winter. It's going to be news. It's going to be, a lot of people, YouTubers making videos. It's going to be in all the Facebook groups. And it's going to be, what are they doing to Top Thrill 2? What's going on? This has been like one of the top news stories for roller coasters in 2024. I remember somebody from Universal asking me, he goes, why is everybody talking about Top Thrill 2 when we got Stardust Racers, which is awesome. And I'm like, it's not in the same league. If you're a coaster enthusiast, like Top Thrill 2, as far as the United States goes right now, is like it. There's no other rides that are 120 miles an hour, 420 feet, other than King Dakar. And King Dakar, it's on its last legs before they start having to do something like this. So we'll see what happens. You're going to watch videos about cursed roller coasters in the theme parks. Am I hopeful that Top Thrill 2 could reopen and stay open? I'm still hopeful, but do I think that there's a chance they abandon this project because of costs? There's a chance, man. There's a high chance. This thing is 420 feet tall. If you have to replace any of the track on the top hat, you're going to have to bring in one of the world's biggest cranes. There's only so many of those. It's going to have to be there for long enough. This would have been so much more cost effective if it does need done, if they would have replaced the top hat when they did the spike. This project, if they have to do anything other than modify the trains, has just cost them astronomical numbers, probably double what they originally intended on spending on this, which is probably the estimate that Intamin would have given them to fix it right to begin with. So, yeah, that's it. This is going to be a financial problem, a financial burden. They lost money this year. Going into next year, if it's not running, they're going to lose money. They're going to lose money fixing it correctly now, and it's a pit. And I really hope they fix it. I really, really do. It's an amazing attraction, and I hope they fix it right. If Zamperla gets what they need from Cedar Point's end to make it happen, and Zamperla is able to fix it, that would be great. If Zamperla is incapable of fixing this, and Cedar Point still has the money, then they need to make friends with Intamin. If like Cedar Point doesn't have the money, well, then they need to say we don't have the money and this is not going to open. So it's interesting. Do I think this affects future projects at Cedar Point going down the road as far as what we see? I do. But it looks to me like they're about to maybe possibly even put in another water ride because they closed the one water ride they had. Like, I don't... Log Flume or whatever it is, Water Rapids, I don't really go on those, but I know they wanted a Log Flume, so it must have been some other similar ride, and now they closed that one. So they definitely need a water attraction, and I wouldn't imagine they would go with Intamin for that launch Log Flume ride that I heard had issues at San Antonio. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, but I think their priority needs to be Top Thrill 2. That's the moneymaker. That's what brings people into the park. If they can't have another roller coaster for 3 or 4 years, I would do that. I would do whatever it takes to get Top Thrill 2 working because there's nowhere else like this that you could get that experience. Yeah, short of King Dakar, which you could get to a similar experience. But that one's going to be the next big project for Six Flags to see, are we going to fix King Dakar? I think they have to. They got the Drop of Doom on there. They got all sorts of other things. But will they want Zamperla to do it? Probably not. I wouldn't because the whole attraction, the Drop of Doom and the roller coaster itself is Intamin. So for me, you got to go with Intamin on that one. If they fix this right with Zamperla, will I like it? Yeah, I love it. I love the trains that Zamperla made. They were very comfortable. They were great. I just think the track tore up the train for whatever reason. Do they need to fix the train? Do they need to replace the track at the top hat? Remains to be seen. Remains to be seen. But I think there's going to be a lot more money dumped into this project to get it to work. I really do. Anyway, I just wanted to cut a video real quick. It's unannounced, so I didn't expect a lot of people in here, but I figured some people might watch it afterwards. So there we go. There's the news. Top Thrill 2 closed for 2024. Will we see it in 2025? Remains to be seen. Sounds like it's a focus that they want to do, but when in 2025, who knows? I hope it's opening weekend. I hope everybody that hasn't gotten a ride gets a ride. It's totally an amazing ride. Loved it. That airtime on top of the top hat. Nothing else like it. Nothing else like it on earth. So that's it. That's all I got to say today. Appreciate y'all for joining. Please give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Please comment down below what you think of Top Thrill 2. And we'll see you next time. Peace.